Does God use pain to teach us things? That is the question that is on the table on today's Car Talk. My name is DM Jr. and I am here with another episode of Car Talk where I pretty much take you on the road with me, doing life like I'm pretty sure you're doing life right now, and share with you thoughts, ideas, tips, tools, lessons that I'm learning, using, applying in my life with the hope that it'll be a blessing to you as well. Today's Car Thought question is this: does God use pain to teach you something? Now, I have been a Christian my entire life. I have been in many different camps, many different branches within Christianity, which I'm very fortunate to have been a part of so many branches in Christianity, because I can glean from all the different streams of the Christian faith that I've come from and kind of template one on top of the other and get a more balanced perspective and view on things than the average Christian person, is my thought. And there is a thought, mindset, ideal, philosophy that is pretty strong and pretty popular these days that suggests that God uses pain to teach us. Now, before I go any further with this, let me first make it clear that I'm not bashing anyone. I am not directing this toward a particular person or a particular minister. I'm simply presenting a thought, a question, food for thought, my perspective on it, and I welcome your ideas, your thoughts, and perspectives of it. In fact, if you have a different or opposing view of my idea of pain, please leave a comment down below and explain why you would disagree with what it is that I'm saying. I gladly welcome them. I'm all for a healthy conversation and a healthy back and forth dynamic with people that believe different than me. Before we go any further, let me first make this statement. The question is not whether or not you can learn from pain. That is not the question that is on the table. There is no doubt, I am in by no way implying that you cannot learn things going through pain. When I say pain, what am I talking about? We're talking about a painful divorce, a painful separation, a sickness or disease that you're dealing with that can be painful in multiple ways. Painful emotionally, painful because it's keeping you from working, painful because it's separating you from friends. Sickness and disease causes pain in a myriad of different areas. It can be pain in relationships, the pain of a betrayal, the pain of a lost loved one, spouse, friend, sister, brother, the pain of a disappointment, the pain of being overlooked, the pain of rejection, the pain of being outed, being accused wrong, being betrayed. There's a whole myriad of things that fits under the umbrella of pain when we talk about pain. The question on the table is not whether or not you can learn from pain or learn lessons from a painful process. I am of the firm belief and persuasion, and I know that there are a lot of people that would disagree with me with this, but I personally believe that everything we go through in life has the potential of teaching us something if we allow it to. And that just has to do with perspective. That has to do with how you choose to see life. Everything that comes, I take on the belief system. I choose to do this. That everything in life that comes to you is either a blessing or a lesson. There are many people that would not agree with that, but I do. Not necessarily that God sent it, but everything, including the painful situations and the painful moments in our lives, does have the ability to teach us things. Teach us things about ourselves, teach us things about people, teach us things about how we relate to the world. It can teach us a whole slew of things. So that's not the question on the table. And the question on the table is not whether or not we're going to experience pain, because that's just asinine. You are alive. You are on planet Earth, and you are not in heaven yet. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm the first person to inform you that you are not in heaven. And because you're not in heaven yet, and because we're in this earth, pain is a part of the human experience, point blank, period. There is nothing that you or I can do about that. You can't change that. You can't pray it away. You can't fast it away. You can't wish it away. It is simply a fact of life. Pain is a part of the human experience. So the question on the table is not whether or not you can learn through painful experiences. The question on the table is not whether or not you're going to experience pain. The question on the table is, does God use pain to teach you? And I take the firm, unapologetic stand of no. God does not use pain to teach you. And I'm going to give you a few reasons why, a couple of thoughts for you to consider. And I welcome any and all comments below. If you have an opposing view or perspective about it, I would welcome and do welcome and want your feedback. Here's one thought for you. I imagine if you have a daughter or a son, a younger sibling, a nephew, godson, goddaughter, and you tell them, okay, here's what I don't need you to do. Do not put your fingers, your hands on the stove. Why? Because the stove gets hot, and if you put your pretty little fingers on the stove top and the stove is hot because I'm cooking something, is going to burn you. And your niece, nephew, child, godson, goddaughter, younger sibling, being children and being who they are and being curious like they are and not doing what they're told, which children tend to do, they put their hand on the stove when it's hot and they burn their finger. So I ask you, did they learn a lesson through pain in that moment that touching a hot stove is not the best thing to do? They most absolutely did. Was that the best method of you teaching them that touching a hot stove is painful? Was that your did you put your finger on, did you put their hand, their fingers onto the stove to teach them that touching a hot stove is painful? No, you did not. They chose to do it that way. And in them choosing to go the more uncomfortable route, the more painful route, they learned in a very painful way, and they learned through a painful experience that putting their hand on a hot stove is not the best thing to do. That was not the more optimal, the best way of learning, but they learned that way. You can learn through painful experiences, and God can teach you things through painful experiences, but it is not His optimal way of teaching you. God has given us His written word. God has given us the Holy Ghost. God has given us ministry gifts. Apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, teachers. God has given us books and articles. God has given us angels. God has given us a myriad of different things that are assigned and that He has ascribed to be used in our lives to teach us things, to bring insight to us regarding things, how to handle life, how to handle relationships. Those are the ways that the Holy Ghost is going to teach you primarily, and those are His preferred methods of teaching you, and those are His only methods of teaching you. Can you learn through painful experiences? Yes, you absolutely can, but God is not teaching you. God is not using the pain to teach you, and God doesn't send the pain to teach you. There's a big difference. When we say God sends pain to teach you, it is denoting that He is directly responsible, and He is intentionally sending and or allowing the pain to teach you a lesson. And that is not true. God is not intentionally and deliberately sending painful situations in your direction to give you information. We will come and experience painful moments in life. We all will. It's going to happen because we're in a cursed world. We're in a world where people have free wills. We're in a world where Satan is a temporary god of it, and there are demons here and evil spirits here and people that just flat don't like us here. That's going to cause painful situations and moments in our lives. It's going to happen. It's not because God's sending it, and it's not because God's allowing it so that it can teach you and make you stronger and make you better. Painful situations will make you stronger and they will make you better, but that's not why they came. They came because that's the world that we're in right now.